Hi everyone, welcome to the interview for the Chief of Staff and the Data Champion positions at Creative Organics. We have with us Mr. Kandasani Prasad from Creative Organics, who is very happy to hear your story and hear your vision for Creative Organics. So the idea here is not to hire a typical fresher, but to hire a youngster who's ambitious, who's got a good career vision, who can grow to become a leader in the Creative Organics context. And we're very pleased to tell you that already we have seen two young leaders, one in Creative Organics, which is Balaji, who's done really inspiring work with us, and one more Ranganath in a partner company, Renovis Pharma. He's done some interesting work. So we're looking to hire three more youngsters. Over the next 2 months, we wish to hire three youngsters. And we'd like to understand your thought process to see if you fit in to this very inspiring project that Creative Organics has, because what the CEO of Creative Organics, Mr. Ravi Silam Shetty, believes is it is not experience which matters, but it is exposure which matters. And young people can bring in fresh thinking. Of course, we have fantastic mentors like Mr. Prasad, Mr. Balu, who are definitely there to support you. But we want to have some youngsters who come with that energy, who can, bring some really new elements into the culture of Creative Organics. And a little background, this company was started by an alumnus of TIFR, Caltech and NASA, Dr. Krishna Mohan. And Ravi Silam Shetty took over as a CEO 10 years back and is bringing new reforms to grow the company 4x over the next 4 years. And new plant has been set up in Vizag, and that's why the company is pretty active right now, trying to build capacity, trying to get ready for the expansion, globally. And we'd love to have some young Turks into the team. So on that note, would one of you want to present your project? Whatever you've done in round two, right? What's your solution to the task that Ravi had given in round two, right? Who wants to go in first? Who wants to present your assignment of round two?
So all are in mute.
Yeah, they're a little hesitating, I guess, to go in first. We don't take names. In Deep Thought, we don't take names. We wait for initiative. So who wants to take the initiative and present your assignment? Yeah, Harish, please go ahead.
I'll present my presentation that I have made. I'd love
The
to.
presentation can come next, Harish. First, can you present the assignment that you submitted in round two? The life cycle management and price estimation in round two, you had an assignment, no?
Yes. 1 second. Yeah. The Excel sheet, right? The
Yes.
So who are presenting, can you give your background also? Means which domain you are coming from?
So as mentioned in the group, I've mentioned, right? Your introduction. You can start with your introduction and then go ahead with your project.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. This is Harish. I have completed my master's in life sciences from Central University of Gujarat, Gandhinagar. And my bachelor's was in biotechnology, chemistry, and zoology. And I'm mostly interested in the production of raw materials to finished products. I was always fascinated by how this process happens in a huge scale. Like we do that in laboratories in our colleges, and we find many errors while doing even that small project. So when we think about in pharma, it's like such a huge scale, like production in huge scale. What are all the errors which will be, for finding in that production setup, like how to handle them? So that was so fascinating. What are all the process required to solve such problems? Was really interested to know how it's happening in that place where the runtime is busy. We have the time shortages. So many things are happening at once. So I want to really know how it happens in that scale. It would be better if I get some kind of guidance through this process for my future, that I can handle these pressure and give a critical thinking in these problems and get a solution for the problem which we are facing. And that would be really great. And I find getting this role and getting into project management, when we try to manage, we find errors, and when we find errors, we find solutions and we think for it. So for that, I need some amount of guidance and support, as just now I am out of my college.
Harish,
So
would you want to go into your Excel sheet now? Yeah.
sure. One second. Okay, I'll present it. Shall I present? Share.
Yeah.
Harish, can you share your screen? There's a share button there.
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay. Can you share the link on chat? I'll maybe share it for you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I have, sir. I'm just.
Yeah, I got your link. I'll share it on your behalf. No worries.
Thank you so much.
Yes, here I am at task 1. Could you take us through your solution?
Yeah, one second.
Would you want to zoom a bit?
Can I zoom it?
Yeah.
1 second. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, go on.
here in the task 1, I was asked to say, find the how we can find steps for A to B. Like for example, A to B would be where the scientists and the R&D team, they were trying to find a process and then testing it in the disk stage. So I'll just fastly go. Yeah, from bench stage to desk stage, where the scientist calculates the cost of production and then prepares the chemicals required in the lab and tries to measure it theoretically. So that was the task and the CEO's response I gone through. And I came up with a cost and time estimate. Like scientists would definitely know what is the process required and all the preparatory materials. So they have to think through what is the cost in a very small scale. So what I mentioned here was the step 1, the catalyst or the raw materials are very expensive, harder to procure, then they have to leave that. I am talking about the economic feasibility of this R&D product, R&D procedure, because whenever the scientists approach a new method, there are so many methods available. And as a company, we need to be focused on the economical feasibility. And we have to try to make sure that the scientists don't brainstorm and lose the point of economic feasibility while doing the procedures required in the production. So first would be the R&D product which we select, which we choose, how to choose it. I have made an SOP, a kind of an SOP for them, whether to choose this procedure or not. So the first step would be the catalyst or the raw material. If it is expensive, harder to procure in large scale, then we can leave that raw material as such, because it will be highly it will be highly expensive. And then second will be the time which it takes to purify the raw material. Even if we get a raw material in a slightly cheaper, right, and if the purification process takes more amount of time and labor, then we have to look for any other alternatives for the particular procedure. And the next time would be the time itself taken by the chemical reactions in the batch, that is the process. If it is taking longer time with the facilities which we have, then the time scale it would require and the manpower it would require be higher. So we should better take an alternative routes. So these are all the points which I have mentioned to mitigate the problems which we will face in the first initial step, which will be choosing the raw material, in the runtime, which will be during the batch when our chemical reactions are taking place in the reactors, and in the final stage where the processing, downstream processing, where a purification happens. So even the product purification, we should be able to do it a little faster. The time which takes in this all these three steps should be collectively
So
better.
Harish, I think we understand what you're trying to say. So can you proceed? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Shall I go for the task 2?
So are you done? I mean, I thought you have some remarks at the bottom, right? Would you want to take us through that as well? Acha, you started with these remarks and then went into the SOP.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Prasad Garu, can we
So-
go to task 2?
So what in principle, what we are going to communicate? So unless that chemical is cheaper in condition, we can't pursue that material.
Like
Your
it
indication.
all on more things, sir. It depends on whether this product which you are making as a company has a huge demand in the market, and our competitors are also trying to make this exact same product, and the process which it requires are also less. There are certain chemicals where the process would be the methods to manufacture such products would be less. In that case, we can procure those raw materials.
Harish,
But
keep your answer short so that he can come back with a counter question and there can be discussion. No, keep it short. Yeah.
okay. It depends on the market share and the demand, sir, and the amount of methods we can use to produce
Got you,
the.
Harish. Got you. Mr. Prasad, back to you for a question.
Okay. Okay, sir. Clear.
Yes. Okay, sir. Sir, did I answer your question, sir? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Shall I move to task 2?
Yeah.
So here the entire process has been asked. So A to E. This would be from the bench stage to the commercial stage of the run. So here I would just try to borrow my own explanations from the task 1 I have said. Here the CEO asks whether how to move this process seamlessness, streamlined manner, and how will we make a methodistic approach for this process uh, where we can mitigate certain issues in the downstream processing. And here I have given for each stage of bench stage of R&D, and then the desk stage, pilot stage, and the plant stage. And till the desk stage and pilot stage, I think I have mentioned in the task 1 how we go through it. And from the pilot stage where we are actually processing this method, where we are actually trying to make some end product out of it. Will have a small testing facility where we are trying to procure the raw materials.
So,
And
Harish, this is not clear. What bench stage, what you're doing is clear. You told us in task 1.
yeah.
What are you doing at desk stage?
Okay, in desk stage, we are trying to figure out the costings that it would take, and we will be testing it in a very
But you're
small.
already measuring the costing at bench stage. Now, what are you doing differently at desk stage?
Like we are practically doing the test in a way in our laboratories. Like this, I would like to tell in a for example, if it is taking in a huge quantity, we are trying to first test whether it will work or not in the desk stage, because in the bench stage it is all theoretical. Like our scientists know the theory, but they don't know whether it will work or not. What are all the errors it will get through? So in the desk stage, we'll get to know what are the errors it will get through practically. So in the
Okay.
pilot stage, yeah. Okay, did I answer it, sir?
Okay, what all will you
Karan,
measure?
Harsha, Harish.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
Karan, actually, you can share this assignment to me. Okay. Later we can have in-depth discussion.
Yeah.
Let them present.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
At
Okay.
pilot stage, what are you doing, Harish?
At a pilot stage, we'll be having a very small facility, sir, where we'll be testing it and we'll estimating the cost in a small.
What are the main things you will analyze at the end in pilot stage?
At the end of the pilot stage, we will be knowing the spendings of this project if we are going to upscale it. So we'll be having an estimate.
Is it only the costing that you will measure?
Like Like
Is it only the costing that you'll measure at pilot stage, or?
no, the time taken, the costings, what are all the errors which we are facing, all these things will be measured, sir. Everything will measure in the pilot stage.
Okay. And
Because
task zero, could you very quickly, just in 30 seconds, run through how you did this calculation?
okay, so I was given an example of in the processes in the study, in the solved examples in the study. I took in a help from them. And then according to it, we will having three processes for the same raw material, how to get to the end product. So I thought if we are having a cheaper raw material and a costly catalyst and temperature, pressure, and for them also we will be needing some amount of expenditure of energy, which will be again costings. So I made a three different processes which will be requiring three different kind of approaches and different kind of expenses we will be befitting in the process. One will be a cheaper raw material, and another will be faster with the expensive catalyst, and another will be in high temperature, high pressure.
Why did you assume zero overhead for process 2 and process 3?
Where, sir? Which one?
Here, zero overhead for process 2, process 3, no?
Process 2 and process 3
You,
is it?
you've put purity test
Yeah.
zero, right?
Yeah, purity test is zero because we get the purified product itself in that case.
Okay.
Yeah, like if the purity test is given, if we are getting a raw material which is cheaper, if we are procuring.
Got
So
it.
it need to do the purification, and then we have to measure whether it is pure, purity is up to the standards or not. In that case, we will be needing a lot of batch tests to be done. So yeah, that's the background for that, sir. Not giving the
And what is,
I'm not going to in depth of
yeah.
your assignment.
So,
So basically, what you understand from these two assignments, can you give in short answers?
yeah.
yes, sir. I will come back to the meetings. Yeah. So in two lines, I will be stating it, sir. First, demand and supply of the product. It is required, and we have to go through them to get the to select the required raw material. Second, in general cases, the raw material should be taken into account only if it is cheaper and it has a lesser time of production, and it is giving us less errors in the manufacturing process, and the purification process takes less time and less expenditure. So these two lines I understood, and according to them, I made the task 3, the task 0.
Okay, no issue.
Uh,
So those things may be initial. There are other several factors which can be considered
Okay.
while going through the further decision taking process. So this can be a contribution of 10%. There are more than these factors while selection of the product and whether we are going to the commercial scale or not. Okay, when it comes to the competition, everything will matters. Yeah, anyway, that will initial phase. This is the go ahead process or not. That will be okay. No issue. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
sure. Thank you,
So
Harish.
why do you want to opt this role? Any specific reasons? You told, okay, you are passionate about the whatever challenge is going to happen and cost cutting and okay. So this may not be the regular assignment when you come to the job. So every day it won't be cost cutting optimizations. It won't be there. Okay, it's a one-time activity. So, but year on year, there may be a few more products will be added. So that is a one-time activity. Apart from that, what are the other things you want to fascinate about to join Kreative?
Apart from
This role, Tarun, you explained whatever Harish is looking for, which role? It's a project
Chief of
management,
staff. Chief of staff.
chief of staff. Okay. He that need so many other things also. Basically, this cost cutting he will support to the CF.
So, Mr. Prasad, can I paraphrase your question for him? Yeah. So, Harish, what Mr. Prasad wants to ask you is, while this assignment is very exciting, feels very good, this is something which you'll probably do once a year or twice a year.
Okay.
But the role will involve so many things, right? So, miscellaneous things. chief of staff. So why do you want to take up this role, especially when you have to do, variety of things? Is his question.
Okay. So
And all of those things may not be as exciting as this assignment.
Understood. Like we are, in our day-to-day life, we are not doing always exciting stuff, right? We are coaching for the exciting stuff to happen. For that, we need to do multiple things. We can't expect every time it will be exciting,
Why
right?
do you want to take this role, chief of staff role? Why do you want
Okay.
to be?
So mostly in an academic setting, like we as an, for example, as a life science graduate, most of them go as an scientist, most of them go as an industry technicians, laboratory people. Like my goal was to have my own vertical of the business where I manufacture life science oriented products in the pharma space. It's like, right. So when I read about the regulations and the audits which happens in the pharma industry and the stringent process, so it is making sure it is good. The product goes out is good and safe for use. So that requires a lot of screenings and process, which are not exciting for many, but it would be exciting if I can give a pure product outside to the market. Many people don't know what's happening inside, right? Inside the plant. The
Then
techniques.
why creative? Why creative? So why are you opting for creative? Maybe that role can be fit somewhere else also. Then why creative?
Why are
What
you
are the
choosing
other
Creative
factors?
Organics? Is this question?
Okay, why specifically this organization in the sense? Like I went through the product page, sir, and it had a list of people whom I feel would give me better caliber for my the long-term support in the organization. Like this is a company which was started by a person from Caltech NASA and who started it in India. Like he got the experience from there and he could have settled there, but he came to India, and which means he has a value proposition behind him that he has to make good products in our country. And next would be the people who are working under him. For example, the CEO, sir, he will be Ravi, sir. He was, and I saw the video which was sent by which was sent by the Darun sir in the Creative Organics. It was very good to work with a person who will encourage you. You know, he said, everyone are striving for perfection, like, but we can't get it without many mistakes. And I have to start from place which will nurture me, and at the same time in the beginning process, then streamlining myself so that I can be a great support for the company. And any companies can provide any rules. Like we all have interviews, we all have selection process. We have to start from the one which we feel it would be better for our career growth, which we feel will be beneficial for both the
His question
parties.
is, why
I
is
have to
Creative
contribute.
So his question is, why do you think Creative Organics is the right platform for you?
Why Creative Organic specifically in the sense of why right platform? Okay. I feel Creative Organics gives me space for making some mistakes in the initial process. If they're going to give me a huge task of chief of staff within 6 months, then the proposition they are giving me to learn and contribute, the amount of stuffs I'll be learning in this 6 months would be higher than any other organization. No other organization is going to give this position like a piece of cake. They will need something equivalently tangible from the candidate. So I hope that would give me more learning focus than any other organization. Because with an organization like I expect an experience, but I'm getting this role through my exposure. That is itself is a differing factor for Creative Organics as a different kind of values for the company towards the candidates for applying for the roles. So that's a different way of thinking. It's not like
Sure, Harish,
normal.
got you.
So first, I'll be presenting for my role and what I learned, what's my vision, what I learned through the 4-day observation process from Deep Thoughts. And in the end, I will suggest some of my plans. I didn't still clearly know the internal matters of the company, but still what I could propose as a plan for the betterment of the efficiency, optimization, whatever. Thank you. Next, next slide. I will start. So the vision of Creative Organics, you have to grow the company as the best from now without having any issues in the GMP that the manufacturing process we have. The quality product should be a quality product, and we have to expand maintaining the same quality as we are giving till now. We should not compromise on the values which you are upholding still now. That would be the vision of the Creative Organics, for which my vision of Creative Organics to provide a new perspective with my life science qualification. So as I have mentioned already, I have gone through my life sciences and I have a chemistry and biotechnology background. So what can we do in the drug case? So we are producing a drug. Let it be a laxative. Taking an example of laxative. So if it is a laxative, what kind of laxative you're giving to the customers and how it is differentiated between the competitors of our company? Is it producing any side effects? Can we nullify that side effect? How can we do it? A life science perspective will give a better understanding of it in the market share. I hope I can reduce the side effects of the particular drug or suggest in to the R&D dream that this can be done as a chief of staff and going with the senior heads of the company. So next slide, please. Tarun, sir? Tarun?
I have the next slide. No?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you want me to go to the next slide? Okay.
Yeah. After my vision continuation will be.
Got it. Yeah.
Is it changed? I can't say.
An idea out of my vision for Kreative Organics. Why can't we open new verticals for our company related to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a continuation of my vision. I would suggest we would be having since we are setting up like gone through the video where Ravi sir was saying we are setting up a new plant in Vizag. So I thought why not give some new verticals in the new plants along with our current products in case of procuring insect-based raw materials and doing some products related to pesticides in
Okay,
an
Harish,
organic.
you wanted to tell this last, no? So should I go to the next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Next slide, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I hope my vision is clear. I hope I made it clear in my first article. I am moving to my learnings of what I learned in the past 4 days as a short, crisp observations. So that let me go through it. The day one first observation, I was observing Unique Biotech Labs. What were they doing? What was the company's position? What are they working on? So the company UBL in the particular workroom where I was in
Okay,
is
so we'll go to the next one, Harish. This seems pretty clear, no?
yes, sir. Day one observation is properly made it. What's the
So,
probiotic company? Yeah, they are a probiotic manufacturing lead in that workplace. So
Okay.
they are, yeah. Is it? Should I have to?
No, that's
I'll just go through them fastly. Like, just 4 lines.
Yeah, you can go through day two. Yeah.
Okay. Next slide, sir. We can go to the next slide if it is.
In Tech Labs, what did you pick up? I have it on the screen. Are you able to see?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing UBL, Unique Biotech. So
Okay, I
it's
think
little
you're having
slower.
some network issues. I've already brought up Tech Labs here.
Okay, Tech Labs. I will have my own branch here, sir, so that I will. Yeah, sure. So in Tech Labs, I went through the technical part of things, which is the Linux administration, and I talked about why Linux is free, but still it's not being used in the desktop user space. It's free, but the standards are too much, so that the new consumer, when he jumps from the paid Windows or paid softwares to open source free software, he has so many options to choose from. So he gets confused. He's not a developer, right? So that is one kind of problem we understood in the Tech Labs workroom. And the second thing would be why we can't deny that the purpose of Linux is served, because Linux is the topmost OS chosen for the server rooms. It is free. It can be customized for our own needs. Even if in Creative Organics, if you have server, probably it would be running Linux in its background. So and free and open source ecosystem provides us to customize it on our own accord. So we can tailor it for our own needs, if I'm clear. So that is the reason why Linux is still in the marketplace and it's a huge market.
We'll move on. So you're saying day one, you explored UBL team. Day
Yeah.
two, you explored DT Tech team.
Tech team, yeah.
Okay.
In the let's go to the day three observation, sir. So it is a biotechnology oriented. Yeah. So day one was biotechnology, day two was technical grounds on Linux, and day three, it would be our deep thought session. Here I have learned how to automate. Like before, I used to see Google Sheets as just a data assessment sheet. But after getting here, I learned a lot how to automate raw data into segregated data, how we can manage automated sheets. Like this can help us in our pharma space, where we have a large number of log files of variable temperatures, pH, the sensors which are giving us data. All this raw data can be analyzed and sort through, and we can segregate this data and we can optimize our process. We can easily find out the traceability, like in the GMP, the traceability of a particular error can be easily can be fastened by this data processing, which I took it as a case in while learning automation of Google Sheets in the day 3 observation. Uh, Also, they were trying to send the campaigns. This is my case. Their case was to automate the campaigns which are sent broadcasting in en masse.
Yeah,
So
we've
this
got to day 4, Harish.
yeah. So in day 4 and deep thoughts, I was in the student psychology kind of discussions where how to attract Gen Zs. It was sorted out, and it was through WhatsApp and Instagram, and they were going again how the psychology of a student works, how to nurture this particular Gen Z in this generation, what they really look into, and how to give the core, like core of the to learn the curiosity factor,
So,
which we have
Harish,
yes, sir, yes,
before I go to the next slide, I
yes,
want to
sir,
ask you, you come from a life sciences background.
yes, yes, sir,
You've applied for a pharma role.
farmer.
Now you went into deep thought psychology room, you went into deep thoughts technology room, and you were talking to people of a completely different department.
Yes,
So
definitely.
what kept you motivated? I saw that you were almost there for 5 hours each day, talking to them, asking them questions, learning what they're doing. What got
Yeah.
you motivated to talk to people of a completely different department?
I'm just curious. It's new thing to learn. Like it will help us definitely in our space. Any learnings we can customize it for our own sake, right? So if I'm getting technical knowledge, it will help me in process management and automation in Google Sheet. So that they are doing for completely different
And
purpose.
this
That I
Gen Z and psychology?
Gen Z and psychology, people management. I'm going to work with I'm as a chief of staff. I have to have social communication with my employees or candidates, whoever I'm going to work with. I have to know how to manage people, and for that, I need to know how to attract them or at least keep on conversation alive. For that, it's better to know who is the upcoming generation, right? So the psychology of upcoming generation would be helpful. Like that, I thought as that point, so that I spend more time on that student
Okay. Now
psychology.
I've pulled up your plan of action in case you're hired, your plan of action. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I completed my learning. So now plan of action, which I feel it could better. I don't know if all these things are already implemented. These are the suggestions that I just give out of my curiosity. So first would be as a chief of staff, the role itself speaks that I have to be in touch with all the senior heads, and I have to cross communicate all the data, and I have to make sure that all the data are error free, and there should not be any misunderstandings, misinterpretations by any levels of our company. So I have to make sure that for that increased cross communication should be there between departments, and we have to analyze the gap in the knowledge, and how can we rectify it. We can give an event, we can make an event for people, for the staff or own company, workshops to teach them and make them up to 10 what is happening in the pharma space. And second would be understanding our seniors themselves, because they have so much experience and they think a lot faster than we can grasp. So we have to know how their mind works, so that we can grasp it very fast the moment they speak, and have to articulate it and make a proper task that I have to do, and I have to make sure it will be automated. So, and that's I should make sure that's the plan of action, my second plan of action. Third would be staffs are the core basement or foundation of a company. We need staffs. They are working for us. So we have to make sure that they are also abiding to the values of our company. They should be having a strong integrity factor. They have to take accountability and responsibility for whatever mistakes they make. As the video suggested, Ravisa said that it's okay to make mistakes, but we should make sure that they don't make it again. Right. That is not okay. So we should say them, the staff, it's okay, but don't repeat it. How to make them not repeat the mistakes? We can go back to the events and workshop. We can train them again. As a small training here and there would be better. We have people in our company who will be in the topmost corner. I can help in communicating those skill sets from the one candidate to the another candidate, or one senior head to the candidate. So in that case, integrity of staff accountability is to be taken care. So next slide. So next would be after taking care of all the manpower or manpower related tasks have to come to the data management, where we will be having our plant which is running simultaneously. There will be processes, and if there is an error is not a mistake. An error is something which is out of our hands. So if such errors come, and that will be stored in the log files, and I have to make sure this should go to the data teams, or I myself, if I could clear this problem with my technical skills, then I should be able to make a SOP for how to manage this error management system and put it in the place and see how to trace the problems and find who can solve this particular issue. Because in a plant, so many things happens, and many people who are expert in particular field will be there in our organization. So I have to find the nearmost person, have to get the fix, and I have to fix it quickly and resume the operation as per our SOPs which will be having. So this will optimize our process, and it will reduce the error finding time, like fixing time. So that would be the continuation in the fifth point. A small fix in a short window gives us more time for the planning for the future and furthermore critical strategies. The time is a key. On the sixth one will be coordinating all the things with the heads, and making sure in all these things there's not any misalignment of tasks for the teams, and rectifying each and every small mistake so that our company can run with more time management. I feel as my mentor taught me for the time management is really a key for our company's growth. It will definitely optimize our company's growth in the long run. So this is my plan of action. It's rough. It is just I hope it's not that specific. I gave my points. If you feel any capacity in these points, I can definitely go through on them, sir. Definitely.
So, Harish, which way it is different 6 point against one?
He's
You were
asking
saying
point
like that.
6 versus point 1. What is the difference between your point 6 and point 1, Harish?
Okay, the increased cross communication between the department and that one, and the
Coordination
coordination
and
with all
misalignment.
heads.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the first one, I'm talking on the level of only the department's head, like not on the CEO, COO. I'm not taking all these things directly to the senior companies, because small mistakes can be negotiated at that level only. I don't have to take and go all the messages to the heads. So when I go through all the process, if I find any misalignment, then I'll go and coordinate with our heads. So the coordination here is in department level, and the coordination the end would be from the higher authorities who I have to go and meet if it's really wanted, because they also are loaded with work, right? They are running the entire company, so I should not bother them. The coordination should be there when it's required in that case in each and every
So,
department
Harish,
level.
what do you mean by cross-functional?
Okay, cross-functional. Like let's say R&D department is there, and there is a downstream department where they're focused on how to purify this process. But R&D team is trying to get a raw material which is kind of impure. The product they procure and say this can be taken is little impure. Now, if they both can come in the same table, and let's say they have technical background of kind of same, and they understand a little bit of each other's world, then they can come to a middle ground whether we have to invest on this or not. This will reduce the time taken in the decision process of, because the person in the purification department, downstream department, knows about the raw material. He works there, so he knows it will take this much time, this much costings, and the person in the R&D team is too much brainstorming, right? He is
Got it.
fascinated by
So,
ideas.
Harish, by cross-functional, you're saying you'll make departments talk to each other, understand each other's world.
Understand each other, and
What is the last one, the coordination part?
coordination is when the department level, if they can't the specific argument, then I will take up this as my responsibility to convey this to our senior most members, the experts and team, and then figure it out, and then again get this messages back and task backs to the organization and make sure it's up and running. So the optimization should be taken care. As a chief of staff, all the tasks maintained by the staff, all the staffs in the company should be without pause. It should run as fast as it can, and I should make sure that I take this responsibility only if in case escalate this issue, only if it in case there is an misalignment in the department level.
Got it.
Not
Got it, Harish.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So, Aisha and Sushmita, if you have something to add now, we are happy to hear you. So, just Prasad Garu, to give you some context, I think when Harish finished his assignment and he finished his reflection round 3, then he was about to start his observation. Then I
Yes.
told him that in the pharma industry, usually it takes 10 to 15 years experience for somebody to be given chief of staff position on the lower end. I said, in 6 months experience, we're giving you chief of staff. So tell me 10 years of experience, how you will gain in 6 months. That is 60 months of learning. Sorry, 10 years is 120 months of learning. How will you get it in 6 months? Then
Yeah.
Harish said, yeah, it is accelerated learning, 20 times faster learning. I said, okay, fine. In 3 days, what you can learn with us, learn and show us, so that we are convinced that you can learn very quickly if we hire you. So he joined us. He sat with the psychology team. He sat with the technology team. He sat with the data science team. And now everybody is telling me, my team is coming and asking, are you hiring Harish? He
Good.
made friends with everybody internally in my team.
Yeah.
So I thought of recording this because, there are a lot of youngsters who study chemistry, but not many, I think, are developing that personality of what it takes to be in the senior position, right? Like he said, he wants to understand people, he wants to understand technology, he wants to understand data, he wants to understand chemistry. And that's probably what we want out of a youngster, right? So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope we could have a good conversation after this interview.
Further levels we can able to pursue for.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. So, since this video is being recorded and it will be shared to other applicants also of Creative Organics, the
Yeah.
reason we record this videos is somebody who's very passionate and wants to be a part of us. We make it available so that they can watch it, understand, and prepare better for interviews in the future.
Yeah.
So, Aisha and Sushmita and Harish, so some points from my end, while Mr. Prasad is also here, I'm sure he'll agree, is, see, Deep Thought has been hiring for various innovative organizations like Creative Organics, Vishkarma, Unique Biotech, and so on. So what we see is in all these organizations which are run by highly educated people and people who care for people, organizations where people are highly valued and respected. And these are organizations where youngsters are considered for important positions. And trust me, when you go to large corporates, it takes several years before a promotion,
Yes.
before anything can be taken. Now, but that does not mean every youngster is eligible or every youngster will be considered. Hardly it's going to be 1% of youngsters, right? So if you want to be in that 1%, point number one, your exposure matters, right? How many different things you're exposing yourself to. Point number two, your language comprehension matters. When the assignment was given to you, have you opened every sheet? Have you read it properly? Have you read it 2 to 3 times? Right? Because Ravi Silam Shetty, he has explained a lot of things. I mean, to be honest, to do the assignment, if you read what he has written, that's enough. Because the answer is in the interview of Ravi Silam Shetty itself, where he's explaining what has to happen and so on. And the way the assignment was designed was, I went on a 1-hour phone call with Ravi Silam Shetty. We recorded his entire call. We typed it down. And from that, we made the assignment and sent it to him. And he said, this is okay. So it's not like we're expecting rocket science from you. If you're able to read what he said and put down your thoughts of how you will implement it, you would have cracked your assignment. So I think if Harish was able to do the assignment, it is because he read it 2-3 times. So that is my first advice is, exposure matters. Second advice is, I think the way you read the thing and comprehend, I think is important. And point number 3, I think it's important that you have a vision at the level of the organization. Because most freshers, they go into an interview and they say, sir, give me a job, your company is very good, I want a chance. But rather, I think Harish was talking of, if you give me a chance, what will I do? So in fact, when you hire people for leadership roles, right, for a CXO role or a vice president role and above, one question we ask is your 100-day plan. If we hire you in the next 100 days, what you will do? So I think what the presentation which Harish came up with is something like a 100-day plan. Of course, a 100-day plan is a lot more detailed. There's a lot more structure which will come, but that's okay. With time, you'll learn that. But if you're being considered for a leadership level role, we'd expect what you do if you're hired for this role. But that, as Mr. Prasad said, Harish clearly understood the expectations of the role, did some research about what people do as a chief of staff. He didn't know. To be honest, when I had a phone call with Harish, I asked, in 6 months experience, do you think you'll become chief of staff? He said no. I told him, so then Harish, are you telling me that you're ineligible for this role? He said no, but there's so much I have to learn. Then I said, but Balaji and Ranganath already did it.
Yeah.
He said, okay, fine, I will learn. Then I gave him a chance of observation and I'm glad he learned. And his outlook changed just within 3 days. So I think for anybody who's hearing this video, all I would say is, I think, A, try to get yourself more exposure by going through all the documents that we've given you. B, read the documentation very carefully, where the way you comprehend matters. And point number 3, I think it's good. At the end, it's all going to go down to what's the vision you have for the company? What will you contribute to the company if you're hired? This is what we look for if you want to hire somebody. We're going to be hiring 3 youngsters. And in case you have a friend of yours who doesn't want to be, as you know, in Raghuvaran BTech, he says, I don't want to be the tail of a lion. I want to be the head of a cat. So if you have a friend who wants to be in a small organization, but play, be in an important role, do pass on this video as well. So because at Kreative Organics, we're trying to find those 3 amazing youngsters who can help us in our growth journey over the next 4 years. So on that note, I would like to thank Mr. Prasad. I would like to thank Harish, Aisha, and Sushmita for joining us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.